Welcome, everybody. This is New to the Street, your weekly hack with Alain Ghiai. Alain's with Globex Data, the leader in Swiss-hosted private and secure communications and data management. How are you doing today, Alain?
Doing great. Hi, Anna, and hi, everyone who's watching us.
All right. So in the U.S., it is tax season. It's in full force. Talk to us about how we can be protected from third-party big tech companies. There's a recent article about fake cops scamming Apple and Meta. What's going on here?
Okay, so what happened is in the big tech world where everything is integrated and where the data mine you, obviously that's the big problem. These companies are trillion-dollar companies and they don't have a vetting process strong enough, obviously, because hackers got their entire user base. They don't have a vetting process strong enough before they hand over data. And, if you come to us and you say, hey, hand over the data of Anna and her friends. Well, first of all, you need to be a Swiss federal judge to do that because we are only hosted in Switzerland and we don't use third-party hosting such as big tech. So we're not subject to the Cloud Act. So it would take basically somebody like you to commit a federal crime, a penal crime in Switzerland. Short of killing someone, there's very few penal crimes out there that you could do according to the federal code. And then essentially a federal judge from Switzerland would come to us, then we verify and we notify you that you're being investigated. So there's a long vetting process. Whereas here, when they're so used to handing over data with subpoenas, for example, or selling data to other big tech companies, there's not a big vetting process. And these companies are quite big. So what happened is essentially hackers were posing as authorities, police authorities. For some reason, they wanted the data. This was handed to them by Apple and Meta, which is Facebook. Meta sounds like a really cool, crisp name, but it's no different. It's basically the old Facebook and WhatsApp at the end of the day. And that whole data was handed over to hackers. And of course, that's going to be exploited, and we're all victims of that. So the way to get away from that as much as you can is, I can't tell people don't use big tech product. I mean, we have the phone, we have this, but at least when it comes to the communication aspect, instead of using a free application provided by big tech, maybe when you want to communicate next time as a business or even between each other, use Secure Messenger, because with Secure Messenger, A, we don't take your phone number, B, we vet you, and C, we don't data mine you. That's another amazing thing as well. So that would be my advice, is to reduce your footprint on social media and also to try to get away from some of these so-called free tools from big tech, which are really not only not free because they make money from you from that data, but it's inevitable that they make some mistakes.
Exactly. And, I just got an email from my CPA with all of my tax information.
Oh, man.
How can we tell us some process about secure mail, about how we can start implementing it now to make sure our data is secure in the future?
So it's tax season in the US, so consumers and businesses. So we just launched our business product, by the way, and also we just launched our secure mail only. So if you go to secure.com, sekur.com, and you go to, you can choose a messenger, the email, or the secure package. If you're a business, you hover to the business section. Essentially, the way to do it, if I was your accountant, of course, I have to know about us, but that will come. They would basically send you a secure send email using the secure platform. And that basically guarantees that only you are going to get that email. They can password protected. They can decide how many times you can read it. They can also have a self-destruct timer and X amount of hours, days, etc. And then you get, let's say, information from them. They can upload all the attachments. And then at the end of the day, you can also use secure reply. So even if you don't have secure as a recipient, you can use the secure reply and you're both protected. The system works that the entire communication is only happening in our Swiss servers in Switzerland and not sent over the net back and forth in, very low encryption or unencrypted manners. You have encryption, but a lot of time the attachments are not encrypted in those so-called secure communication. Whereas with us, we secure everything from the calendar, the attachment, the email. Now, if you have Sekur, you can send an email to your accountant and say, hey, this is Anna, here's my bank statements for the past year, my, whatever, my brokerage account for my stocks, etc., and my mortgage papers. Please, when you reply, just use Secure Reply. Do not reply with your regular email. I've done that many times when I communicate with stockbrokers and they want to know an account number or where to wire money. I give them that information. I use Secure Send, and then I tell them just use Secure Reply. That's it. And they know how to do it. And I don't put password for them or anything like that. They can just do it without any restriction. If I may add one last thing, to use Secure Mail, to use Secure Send feature, you need to go to our webmail. If you configure your email on your device, it doesn't have the Secure Send. However, our new application, our email application coming up at the end of May, will have all those bells and whistles at the fingertip in a downloadable app, which we're working on. There's a beta mode right now, but I don't recommend people to use a beta mode right now because the features are not all there. So it is doable. And we plan actually to do a massive launch for businesses in June so that they know that they can protect themselves and their client from these kind of attacks and also keep things private.
That's great that all these features are coming up so quickly, May and June. Well, we look forward to these updates. And as always, thank you for the weekly hack, always learning how to keep our data private and secure. Thank you again for joining us on New to the Street, Alain.
Thanks, Anna. Pleasure to be here.
All right. Thank you all for watching.